There's an old saying that every good theater has a ghost. And when you hear the stories of the old Hollywood theaters, you'll realize that the saying is correct. Many theaters from classic Hollywood are not only popular for being haunted, but they were actually haunted. Let's uncover those theaters and their stories in detail. Egyptian Theater. The Egyptian Theater, constructed in 1922 by Sid Grauman, is an enduring symbol of Hollywood's golden age of cinema. Its exotic design, with hieroglyphics, sphinx statues, and an interior reminiscent of ancient Egypt, creates an atmosphere that seems almost otherworldly. Many visitors and staff have reported unexplained sounds, such as echoing footsteps, whispering voices, and the creaking of doors when the building is otherwise empty. These auditory phenomena contribute to the belief that the theater harbors a spectral presence. Legends of ghostly figures abound within the Egyptian theater. Several accounts describe apparitions dressed in period attire wandering the halls, as if still engaged in their theatrical duties. One of the most frequently mentioned specters is that of a spirit resembling Sid Grauman himself, a founder whose passion for the theater seems to have left an indelible mark on the building's soul. In addition to individual apparitions, the overall ambiance is often marked by sudden temperature drops and pockets of cold air, typical signs of paranormal activity. These unusual occurrences are sometimes linked to the building's tumultuous past, including tragic events during its early years, when the pressures and hardships of the film industry left emotional imprints behind. Furthermore, the theater's continuous use for premieres and performances creates an energetic environment where emotions, from elation to despair, are powerfully expressed. Many paranormal enthusiasts believe that such an intense spectrum of human emotions can attract residual energies or even conscious spirits. Over decades, these factors have intertwined to form a rich tapestry of ghost stories that fuel the theater's haunted reputation. Whether one considers these phenomena as residual echoes of the past or evidence of conscious spectral presences, the Egyptian theater remains a fascinating example of how history and human emotion can combine to create a legendary haunted venue. El Capitan Theater. The El Capitan Theater, a historic landmark on Hollywood Boulevard, boasts a colorful history that spans back to its origins as a prestigious playhouse in the 1920s. Initially built to host live dramatic productions, the theater eventually adapted to the burgeoning film industry, transitioning into a movie palace that embraced modern technology while preserving its classical charm. Its walls have witnessed the passage of countless performances and private tragedies, which many believe have left behind echoes of restless spirits. Paranormal accounts associated with El Capitan include the tragic story of a theatergoer who met an untimely end in the balcony, a death that has become a permanent part of the venue's lore. Staff and longtime employees have reported inexplicable phenomena: chairs shifting on their own, unexplained gusts of cold air, and the sudden sounds of a Wurlitzer pipe organ playing without any visible trigger. These incidents are often interpreted as manifestations of past emotions or unresolved tragedies. One common narrative centers on the idea that the ghosts of former managers and projectionists still linger within the theater's labyrinthine corridors, their presence a silent reminder of the personal stories that once animated the stage. Moreover, the building structure itself seems imbued with an almost palpable energy. El Capitan's richly restored interiors and meticulously preserved historic details create an atmosphere where the past and present converge. This fusion of eras heightens the sense of being in a place where memories never fully fade. The theater's use for high-profile events, film premieres, and tapings has only amplified its mystique over the years, inviting paranormal investigators to explore its hidden corners. Whether these occurrences are simply the result of long-forgotten residual energies or the active presence of spirits unwilling to depart, the El Capitan Theater remains a celebrated haunted venue in Hollywood, steeped in both glamour and ghostly mystery. Vogue Theater. The Vogue Theater's haunted reputation is rooted in a history marked by both artistic grandeur and deep tragedy. Located on Hollywood Boulevard, this once vibrant movie palace has experienced numerous transformations over its long life. Its storied past is interwoven with accounts of disaster, including a devastating fire in the early 20th century that claimed the lives of several children and a beloved teacher, creating an aura of sorrow that still lingers within its walls. Paranormal investigators and visitors have reported numerous ghostly encounters at the Vogue Theater. Sightings of full-form apparitions, spectral figures that seem to be reliving moments from a bygone era, are common. Some accounts describe children's laughter echoing softly in empty corridors, while others speak of the forlorn figure of a schoolteacher seen wandering the foyer, a nod to the tragic history of the location where the theater now stands. In addition, former employees have mentioned sudden drops in temperature and the unsettling sensation of being watched when alone, suggesting that the residual energy of past tragedies may be imprinted on the building. The theater's long history as a hub for artistic expression contributes to its paranormal reputation. Over the decades, the Vogue has been a gathering place for celebrities, film premieres, and live performances, all of which have generated intense emotional energy. Many paranormal enthusiasts believe that such emotional imprints can attract and even sustain spectral presences. Moreover, during its period as a center for paranormal research in the 1990s, the venue was subject to extensive investigations that documented poltergeist-like activity and unexplained movements of objects, reinforcing the notion that the theater is indeed haunted. These diverse paranormal experiences, combined with the theater's tragic and vibrant history, have solidified the Vogue Theater's status as one of Hollywood's most haunted landmarks. The interplay between unresolved grief, intense human emotion, and the historical significance of the venue creates a rich tapestry of ghost stories that continues to fascinate both skeptics and believers alike. TCL, Chinese Theater. What is it about a theater that seems to draw a ghost? Perhaps it is the venue in which the full spectrum of human emotion, from unbridled joy to crushing sorrow and spine-tingling fear, is expressed. Such dramatic displays may serve to attract spirits that need this energy to continue their existence. In some cases, the violent or tumultuous events that occur within these walls leave behind lingering impressions that are interpreted as hauntings. Theaters demand immense love and devotion from the staff who work there, and many of these individuals are said to return after death. Some because they experienced their greatest happiness within those walls, others because of unfinished business. Across America, theaters are believed to host a myriad of ghosts, ranging from the frightening to the playful to the tragically sorrowful, and Hollywood is no exception. It comes as no surprise, then, that the film capital of the world boasts several haunted movie theaters. One such landmark is TCL Chinese Theater, arguably one of the most recognizable in the world. Originally known as Grauman's Chinese Theater, this extravagant movie palace was built in 1927 by showman Sid Grauman to host the premiere of Cecil B. DeMille's epic film, King of Kings. Grauman deliberately chose an architectural style that played on the public fascination with all things Oriental. And if the design didn't make the place unique, then an incident involving screen star Norma Talmadge certainly did. Legend tells that as she was leaving the theater one night, she stepped unknowingly into freshly poured cement outside the lobby, leaving a permanent shoe impression in the concrete. That event marked the beginning of a tradition where celebrities have since left their handprints and footprints on the sidewalk, a stretch that has become Hollywood's most popular tourist attraction, though few realize that this very sidewalk is believed to be haunted. In 1979, while enjoying a drink at a local bar, actor Victor Killian began a conversation with a stranger. Authorities believe the pair left the bar together and went to Killian's apartment, where his body was discovered the following day, badly beaten. His apartment, located just a block from TCL Chinese Theater, had also been burglarized. Though his killer was never caught, Local lore claims that Killian's ghost still walks the route from the Chinese theater to his apartment, perhaps in the hope that his murderer might reappear. It is also said that the interior of the theater is haunted. Stories describe a ghostly little girl named Annabelle who roams backstage, tugging on curtains and startling the staff. And that is the haunted story of the Chinese theater in Hollywood. Warner Pacific Theater. While the old Warner Pacific Theater on Hollywood Boulevard has become somewhat quieter in recent years, the legends of Sam Warner's ghost continue to make it one of Hollywood's most notorious haunted theaters. In the late 1920s, after several failures, the four Warner brothers, Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack, risked everything on the production of a new movie called The Jazz Singer. This daring venture, intended to be the first talking film, was also meant to mark a turning point in the development of sound in theaters. Alongside this uncertain project, the Warner brothers were rushing to complete their new theater, which was to be the largest in Hollywood, in time to host the film's premiere. During the filming of the movie, Sam Warner personally supervised the installation of the sound system, all the while fretting over rumors that talking pictures were nothing more than a fleeting fad. Caught between construction delays and the demands of film production, Sam scarcely had time to eat or sleep. According to legend, when he realized that the theater would not be ready for the opening, he stood in the lobby and cursed the building. The Jazz Singer eventually premiered in New York on October 6, 1927, to enthusiastic crowds and rave reviews, but tragically, none of the Warner brothers were there to witness it. Just 24 hours before the premiere, Sam suffered a hemorrhage and died in Los Angeles. His brothers hurried back from New York, and the film never saw him alive. The Warner Pacific Theater opened 6 months later with a now-forgotten film called The Glorious Betsy, starring Conrad Nagel. Despite this, the night was emceed by Al Jolson, and a ceremony was held in Sam's honor, with a plaque placed in the lobby. It is said that although Sam was not physically present at the ceremony, his spirit was unmistakably there, a man who could not leave the world with his work unfinished. Since that fateful April night in 1928, numerous sightings of Sam Warner have been reported around the theater and in the administrative offices above. Local residents have seen him pacing the lobby, looking frustrated and weary. Late one night in the 1970s, 2 men on a cleaning crew witnessed him crossing the lobby and entering an elevator. He pressed the button, the door closed, and the elevator ascended on its own. When a security guard later investigated, the men recounted the event and promptly quit on the spot, while the guard simply mused over why a ghost would choose to use an elevator. Although Sam's appearances have diminished in recent years, perhaps because his work here is finally complete, the security company that oversees the theater often hears sounds upstairs. Chairs being moved, scratching on doors, or tapping noises as if he were seeking attention. The elevator, which operated on its own for many years, eventually suffered damage in the Northridge earthquake of 1994. And yet, strange occurrences continue to be reported by those who work there, confirming that Sam Warner's ghost remains very much a part of the theater's legacy. Pantages Theater. The Pantages Theater stands as the last remaining gem among Hollywood's once glorious movie palaces. An Art Deco masterpiece, widely regarded as one of the most beautiful theaters in the world, its history is as dazzling as its architecture. In 1949, the theater was purchased by the enigmatic billionaire Howard Hughes, who acquired it as part of his national theater chain when he bought RKO Pictures. Hughes was a man of many contradictions: a daredevil aviator, a visionary filmmaker, an inventive mind, a notorious playboy, and, in his later years, a reclusive figure whose personal demons perhaps never left him. It is said that the happiest days of Hughes's life were spent in Hollywood, which may explain why his spirit now roams the Pantages Theater. After acquiring the theater, Hughes established 2 offices on the second floor. Staff members who have since worked in those spaces frequently describe an overwhelming sense of another presence, especially in the conference room that once served as Hughes's office. Carla Ruin, an executive assistant at the theater, remarks on the inexplicable coldness of the room. A chill accompanied by unexplained noises and the clicking of brass handles. On more than one occasion, a cold wind swept through the suite. Ruin has even caught sight of a tall, spectral figure, which she believes to be Howard Hughes himself, dressed in modest business attire. And if Hughes is seen, he is never alone. Adding to the eerie atmosphere is the tale of a singing woman whose story dates back to around 1932. That year, during a film screening in the mezzanine, a female patron died, and ever since, when the auditorium falls dark and quiet, the sound of a woman singing emerges from the silence. This ghostly melody, sometimes heard during both day and night, has become part of the theater's haunted lore. And thus, the Pantages Theater carries not only the legacy of its vibrant past, but also the spectral imprints of those who never truly left, making it one of Hollywood's most storied and haunted landmarks.